Hello and welcome. I'm Ash Parker from Hancock County Library System, and I'm here to provide some information about our upcoming virtual book club. Today, we're going to talk about the platforms and resources that the library will use that you'll have access to, just in case you aren't familiar. Our primary platform for book chats is going to be Zoom meetings. You don't need to have a Zoom account, but you can create one for free. And there are a couple ways to join a Zoom meeting. Once you register, you'll get an email that will provide you with a link and with the meeting ID and passcode. You can either join with the link on the day of, or you can go to zoom.com/join and join from the browser with the meeting ID and passcode. There is also an app that you can download both for your computer and on your mobile device. You should probably have audio, something you can listen with, and a mic that you can speak through. Webcams are optional, but we would love to see your face, and it's your comfort level on how much you interact through Zoom. We're also going to be doing Goodreads Groups, which is a platform that will allow us to do tracking of books on our shelves, what we have read, what we are planning on reading. It'll be an area where we can do group discussions. So if you aren't able to do the group chat or you aren't comfortable doing the group chat, there's going to be an online discussion place for chatting about our books. And you do need to have an account, but this is going to be a private group that you have to be invited to, so it'll be pretty private. I'm going to go ahead and just share a couple things, if I can, in the chat for reference. These are a group of links to the platforms and resources we're discussing, and this is a link to the Goodreads if you want to get an invite. I'll also be sending invites to anyone who signs up for any of the book read meetings or this information session. This is also an optional thing. You can either do the live book chat, or you can do the online discussion, or you can do both, whatever works for you. One of the resources that we want to highlight is our ebook and e-audiobook collection on Overdrive, and that's going to be the Libby app on your mobile device. You can access those and read those in your computer browser from hancock.overdrive.com, or you can download the Libby app on Apple or Android. These ebooks and audiobooks have 14-day checkouts, and they will automatically return themselves. You can have up to 5 hold requests at a time, and if one of your books becomes available and you're not ready for it, there is an option to delay the hold. So it passes on to the next person in the list, and then you'll be at the next one to get it. And the app provides some notifications about when your items are available and when it'll be returned. We have access to a group of free public domain classics through Project Gutenberg on Libby, so it's a nice reading app to access ebooks, and we'll use that as we can. There are other resources for selecting books for the book club. We, of course, want to highlight our own collection, and we want to utilize any free or existing resources. Overdrive does a massive community read called Big Library Read a few times a year. So we're going to jump in on that and participate. Those titles are selected and announced a little bit ahead of time, so we don't quite know those titles yet. But usually they will have additional resources for online book discussions and sometimes book chats with the author. So it's a fun way to get a really large community involved. We may have to plan ahead for our own collection to make sure that we have enough titles for a book club, and we are able to purchase multiple copies. So that's an option if we don't have enough copies for a book club. There are also some physical options we can use: the Mississippi Library Commission, which is the Mississippi's state library. They do book club kits, and we can request those and we can check them out in person. So those are physical items. They do have access to a list of their books, and we'll look at those a little bit later on in the book club. Project Gutenberg, as I mentioned, are free, open, public domain books. On their website, you can access them. We also have some of them in Libby. If we don't have them, but we have access to them, we can get them. And there is also a great resource from Internet Archive called Open Library, where you can get a free account and you can check out books. And they will typically have multiple copies of books, sometimes in different languages, but if you search one and it's in French, look in the information and you can usually find an English language version. So those are some options for getting enough copies for a book club. Because this is a virtual book club, we're going to have different levels of comfort with different technologies. That's why we wanted to do this information session. But just so that you're aware, if you're not familiar with Zoom or some of the ebook lending platforms that I've talked about, you can get help from the library. Bay St. Louis Library has a tech help hour every Friday from 1 p.m. to close. More than an hour, but a set day where you can drop in with your questions. You can also make appointments if that day doesn't work for you, and you can get one-on-one help with your device or with the different platforms that you might be using. We also try to record and post information on our YouTube channel. For example, we recently had the experts from Libby and Overdrive do a tutorial on how to use Libby. So that is a great option, and we will continue to post information resources there. And you can post on the Goodreads groups, or you can email me directly if you have any questions or trouble getting what you need to do. So we're going to talk about what the book club is going to look like, the schedule, and how we select the books. This is something new, so we are open to changing things. But for now, we have a couple options for the live book chat. We're going to do one group read where everyone votes on a title and we get the same title and we read it and we discuss that title. That's going to be the fourth Wednesday of each month from 7 to 8 p.m. Again, we can adjust those times a little bit, but just to get started, that's where we're going to go. And we also are going to have an open read, and that's going to be a selected theme or genre that everyone selects their own books. That's going to be the second Saturday of the month from 2 to 3 p.m. The library will provide you with some resources in selecting with those genres, and that list of links that I sent in the chat has some of the resources for that. So we'll try to make it easy for you to select. You can attend one of these, both of these. You can switch it up which one you attend each month, and you can openly discuss in the Goodreads group. I'm going to post this before I forget. For the title, there is a poll out there. There's a poll on Goodreads, and there is this Google form. You can do either or both if you want. It's just the Google form allows you to select your top 3. So that's sometimes more helpful in finding common ground with multiple readers. So take some time before the first title read to give some feedback so that we can get that book selected. The way that the meeting will look, well, a little bit like this, but less of a talk, less presenting, and more, hopefully, lots of faces talking. I will be hosting and introducing content and providing some discussion prompts as needed. We may find that the group leads itself, so we'll just see how things go. Everyone is welcome in this group, so we ask that you're respectful. and open to different perspectives. I would hope that everyone will give selections a chance, even if they might not be your cup of tea. I've read that if you're not sure about a book, give it at least 50 pages. And if you don't think it's for you, that's fine. You do not have to have finished the book to come to the book chat. That might even be a point of discussion. What kept you from reading it? What stopped you from wanting to continue? But if it's really not something that you can get into, a title or a theme, you can sit them out. That's certainly fine. These book chats are going to be open. You only need to register once. There's going to be 2 Zoom meetings. And once you register, you can add that to your calendar for a reminder. But you only need to register once, and then you'll be able to access it. It's super easy if you have the app. It usually will just save the group meeting and the password, and you can just pop right back in. These meetings will not be recorded or shared. They're try to maintain some privacy just so that everyone is comfortable. And we don't really have any age group restrictions or target. This is a general interest focus. So if you're, not sure about the age range, just give it a try. The more diversity in a group, the more interesting the discussion is. And as I mentioned, the schedules and selections, I've got some information for you to get started, to do some heavy lifting, just to get things rolling. But please provide feedback if something doesn't work for you, or you're really excited about doing something. We can shift things up. So this is the schedule, and again, it is posted, or it will be posted. I think that it's in your resources, but I do have a link for it. I have a Google Docs, and as things are selected, as titles are selected, I will make the changes there, so that link will be good. But to get us started, we aren't having an open theme because January has already started and we're not going to be ready for that. But the poll that I linked in chat will show the classics. These are the Project Gutenberg books that we have multiple access copies. So a bunch of people can rent them at the same time. And it just made it easy to start out there. But the library has access to other resources that we can select as we go along. So the first few months, I threw some ideas out there. The Google poll allows you to select 3 of those items, and it also allows you to write something in. So if there's something that you really want to read that isn't there, write in something else and we can discuss and decide. You'll notice that the big library reads, which are the community reads, that we get free access to multiple copy titles in addition to their programming. It is April, July, and November. We don't know that yet. I actually haven't checked this morning to see, but the last time I checked, they hadn't announced it. So we'll probably get, a little bit of notice before they've selected the title. And then those titles are going to be available for 2 weeks. Additional themed reads are on the left there. And again, I've posted a link so you can access this document and print it out if you so desire. But some of the highlights for March to coincide with Mardi Gras, I've got a list of Mardi Gras title reads in the poll. And it's also, if you find another book that you'd like to read, you could do that for the themed read instead. And yeah, so if there are any questions so far, feel free to either unmute yourself or pop them in chat. I've already posted the title poll and the list of resources for the fantasy genre. Those resources include both physical books in the library, what are the top fantasy books that our patrons are checking out, and the top titles from Overdrive, as well as a link to, I've curated some fantasy titles in Open Library from Internet Archive. So you have a lot to choose from for that. And just to get this started, these are available. You do need to register for one or both, whichever one you want to attend. The group title read registration for the Zoom meeting is here. It will send you an email. You can, when you get that email, you can actually add it to your calendar, and it should add every date. And then you can set up whatever notifications you want to remind you. So that is the group read where we do the same title. And here is the Zoom registration for the open read. These are also in our calendar. So if you go look at February, you'll see that the open theme read is there, and the Zoom registration link is there as well. So if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording so that we can discuss or introduce ourselves. Go ahead and stop recording here.